Good morning, good morning, good morning, or I guess good afternoon if you are watching us over on the other side of the pond, and good evening if you are in Hong Kong right now. But if you are in Hong Kong, I bet you are at this match because there are an awful lot of people in red. And I know AC Milan's there as well, but from what I hear, Liverpool is basically taken over at the moment. Um, they're doing wonderful things in Hong Kong. Seems like there's been a lot of great um, excitement, club activities. The players are getting ready to come on out. Everyone is, you can tell these guys look like maybe a little bit more like this is a football match than maybe we saw at the beginning of Preston, which is completely understandable. So before we get into that, welcome Kenny. Kenny, this is our maiden voyage together, doing a show together. So
Yes, sir.
appreciate you getting up at the ass crack of East Coast dawn and doing this show with me. So
Yeah,
how are you this morning, my friend?
doing good. Been up for a while, like I mentioned earlier. I got a 3-month-old, so sleep doesn't exist to me anymore. Actually been up for a while. Went for a run this morning, so I'm feeling about as good as I can. I'm not sure. It's the first game I've watched the preseason. That badge looks new. Did you see that? The number 20 Diogo badge on the front.
Yeah, I think that is something that they're doing during that they've added for this preseason.
Okay.
I believe the badge, I think they're going to have a commemorative badge. The club did announce what they are planning to do. Maybe we'll get to that in a little bit. Before we
Okay.
get going here, I just want to recognize the folks that are already in the chat. Appreciate you all. Sir Z says, good night, gents. Sir Z was going to be with us this morning, wasn't feeling so well. So it's pitch black at 4:30 in the morning in California. You're insane. Brian Shelton, good morning from the middle of the woods. Tony, good morning or good afternoon. Tony, hope you're doing well. Hope things are going well over on the other side of the pond. And we love Dawn. Tony is always good for some wit, so keep the comedy coming. We should mention for anyone that's joining us in the chat, um, get in, get your comments, give us your thoughts throughout the match, what you're seeing, what we're talking about. This is your show as much as it is ours. And at the same time, we'll get the business done out of the way. If you are here for the first time listening, if you're on X, follow us, get on over. And in our bio is the link to our YouTube page. You can subscribe to the channel, get all the great content. We have all kinds of shows. They are showing things here. It looks to me
Gravenberch center back.
they have Gravenberch at center back on this slide. There were some reports that it might be Morton at center back. We'll talk a lot about transfers, etc. It kind of makes sense to me that you'd play Morton in the midfield if you do believe that he is on his way out the club and let people see the player that they would be considering acquiring. I was going to get to this. Unfortunately, Sir Z is right. Joe Gomez is not there today. He has been sent home. They are calling it a minor Achilles injury. Problem with Joe Gomez is minor injury sometimes keeps him out 3 to 7 months. So it's not a great start in a year where we're already really light. We will talk a little bit later in the half, probably, and then a bit in the second half as well about some of the potential transfers, things that are happening right now around the club. But to start, we'll kind of focus on the match. We'll focus on the lineups, what we're seeing, and get your thoughts in. Well done, lads, for getting up early. True fans, Liverpool fan in Liverpool. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you jumping in. If you are new to our channel, please subscribe, like, share it with people. If you are watching this and you have socials and you're willing to share it out there and you think other people would like to have their mornings and coffee broken up, well, go ahead and share that as well. The players are getting ready. The officials look like they're set, checking 7 watches and communication devices. I always love that. They have more watches, yet can't figure out a way to track time properly. But we don't want to get BJ going this early this morning, so we'll stay off the clock talk. So they're getting ready to kick off here. Let's go ahead and quickly, if I can remember how to do this. we're going to take a look here that as they get play underway. Hopefully, my screen eventually will share the lineup. We can go through it a little bit, but ultimately, left to right, you have Robertson on the left. I might be frozen.
I can see and hear you.
All right, it's just my computer is just catching up here, so that's my bad. It'll stop eventually, but we have Robertson on the left, Virgil obviously the captain, Gravenberch at center back, Stevenson, midfield 2 of Morton and Soboslai. Looks like Harvey Elliott on the right, Verts through the center in the 10, Rio on the left, and Mo Salah up top. So definitely interesting to see what exactly that they're doing here.
Yeah, I've always found the formation this year to be our most like interesting discussion point because I have no idea what we're going to look like with all the new players coming in. I doubt this is what we'll look like with Mo as a striker, but I guess you never know. I'm interested to see how he plays with Rio up there.
Yeah, someone has commented that the numbers are hard to make out. I do agree. The gold is not helping. It'll be interesting to see what happens when it comes time, and as far as like what they will end up doing when the new Adidas kits are released. This is kind of uncharted territory to be playing a preseason matches in your former kits from the prior season purely because your contract hasn't started with your new shirt distributor. So it's kind of interesting.
August 1st, right? That's the date of the Adidas kit starts.
August 1st, yeah. And I don't know here. I may have to, I'm going to apologize now for anyone in the stream. I may have to restart Google here. There is a chance that it will shut us down. If that happens, the stream will come back in a moment, and Kenny and I will jump right back in. I apologize for that inconvenience, and I think that is what's going to have to happen because my computer is not unlocking. So I do not know what I did to mess with this thing. So let's see here. I'm going to Kenny, just click right back on the link immediately after this. It should be back up and running, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, thanks, buddy. I want to apologize to everyone that was viewing and watching. Appreciate those who hung on for that time because I see that you are still here. So thank you for that. Kenny, if you give me a second, I will get the stream back up and running. So be on the lookout for a Discord. invite again, and then just make sure you mute it right away. So just a pure example of why you shouldn't try to share multiple screens at once from the same browser. Things like that can happen. So prepare yourself better next time, Gally, is basically myself telling myself in the future how to handle this better. And I'm sure I'll still screw it up when that happens again then.
It happens.
So as we get the stream back up, and let us know, are you watching this right now on the All Reds access? Are you watching this on Paramount? I decided to go with the Liverpool coverage purely because I feel like, well, I get inundated with crap commentary enough watching from the States. So I felt like I might as well take advantage of a good commentary section. We will have some other comments coming in. Sir Z is watching on All Red. That's what we are as well. Big up, Sir Z.
All right, guys. I think we're back in action.
Brian Shelton is on Amazon Prime, and Kenny can officially see the match again. So all is good in the world, or at least Virginia. Again, if you're in the comments, make sure to like, subscribe, share, all that good jazz, and don't hesitate to let us know what your thoughts are of what you're seeing so far. Kenny, I was going to talk a little bit more about the lineup as Allison makes a nice save. Rafael Leao, he's an interesting character. It looks like he did not like the way that Harvey Elliott went about that last little tackle or something he did, because it seemed like he had a little business to talk to him about. Rafael Leao is an interesting one, Kenny. Don't know how much either Portuguese football or Italian football you get to watch, especially with a 3-month-old. But it feels like he was tabbed for world stardom, a move to Madrid, a move to Barcelona. Feels like the bloom went off the rose a little bit from him, and now he's still being linked with a move away from AC Milan, and it's talking now like it's a 75-80 million euro move and not the 100 million that they were talking about. So
he's one of those guys where I don't admittedly watch a ton of Italian or Portuguese football, but I do watch a decent amount. The talent's there for him, from what I read and hear. And again, I've never met the guy, so take this with a grain of salt. He's not the most motivated. He doesn't necessarily always work the hardest, and there's questions about his work ethic and things of that sort. I think that may be what held him back. And I was listening to some sort of podcast a few months ago about him potentially pushing for a move to Arsenal, to be their left winger, whatever you want to call it, and how Arteta was like, I don't want him for the money because I'm not sure he'll work hard enough in my system. So maybe that's what's holding him back, and maybe it's Milan isn't going to win anything, so why would I try? But it's not a great attitude to have when you're trying to put yourself on the selling list. So who knows? The talent's there. I've watched him play enough to see that he has great one-on-one ability, got a decent strike on him, but there's something maybe that last little bit missing.
we have a few more people. Bill says, let's go. Welcome, Bill. Thank you for joining us this morning. Kevin is in New Zealand, and he is watching on a pirate stream. Love it, Kevin. Hopefully the FCC is not listening and or watching, but let's be real. My own mother's probably not listening or watching, so the FCC is not paying attention. Tony says, "Oh Christ, there's Rafael Leao scoring just like that."
I take it all back. Everything I
Was
bad
it
I said about him.
offsides? No, he didn't look excited. So for a moment there, I was wondering what was happening. So that's not the way that they wanted this to begin.
Let's hope it's a
Conceding a
flashback
goal
to the
like that on the
Champions
counter.
League. Let's hope it's a flashback to the Champions League. They score early, quick, and then we kind of take control of the game and go from there.
Well, this is a prime example of Gravenberch being, or no, that wasn't Gravenberch. So who was that? That was so high. Yeah, it was. It was Gravenberch, just so high up the pitch, almost as if he was playing in his traditional role as a midfielder. And just leaves Stevenson, Elliott. No one's getting back there. Virgil tries to close him down, and it's just a solid finish. There's nothing Ali's going to do there. That is a tough one. That's a nice finish.
It is.
And it was a nice pass there by Christian Pulisic that released him. Had a great year at AC Milan last year, surprising many, I think, with how well he took to the last 2 years, to be honest. As we were reading out comments, Tony was letting us know that it's he isn't able to get Paramount, and he can't get all red, so he's relying on us. That's a scary proposition to rely on us, Tony.
Sorry in advance, Tony.
Yeah, sorry in advance is probably the best way. It's like watching it in Braille. So that's a good line, actually. It is interesting here. I can't really make out if they're playing almost 4 across the top, or they're playing with Verts as a false 9, or Soboslai. It seems like it's very much fluent right now in the front for them.
Yeah, Salah definitely doesn't seem to be through the middle, at least
it just doesn't
currently.
They actually have much of a cohesive approach. It almost looks like it's kind of Salah and Verts.
Yeah, it's like a 2 and then Elliott behind him,
and it is
I
different
don't know.
with the numbers here. I do really like Cersei made the comment, sold out stadium. It's just amazing, the pull. And I know AC Milan has a worldwide crowd as well, but it's just great to see the pull that Liverpool can have when you only make these trips, out to these foreign tours, because let's be real, this is preseason and it matters, but it is every bit a publicity tour as it is a preseason camp, right? Like,
yeah,
we're trying to get the work in. I think that was probably one of the concerns about losing some of those days actually in England, which everyone understood why. But I do believe that, Arne Slot would tell you he wants more time on the pitch with the players. And I don't know, in between the interviews, the photo shoots, the celebrity events, the, speaking engagements, all the things the players are doing, and then the team bonding activities, that they're getting as much time on the training pitch on these tours as they would like. And there was them trying to release. Yeah, so it's almost like they are playing, looks in some ways like they are playing like almost like Mo and Rio in like a front 2 sort of. But then they split wider once we get the ball, and it's interesting. You're seeing Verts do a lot of pressing, a lot of running. I don't know that he's touched the ball yet.
I was just thinking that. Admittedly, we did miss a little bit, but
right.
I haven't seen him touch the ball. I know Verts had great pressing numbers in the Bundesliga last year, so maybe we'll use him as like a first point of press like Szoboszlai last year. I'm not sure. I'm interested. I just love to see him play. I haven't really watched him in a Liverpool shirt yet. I did watch a lot more Bundesliga than any other league, obviously besides the Premier League. So I have seen him play, and I like the player a lot. But really excited to see him link up with some of the players we have. I'd love to see him and Salah. I'm a Szoboszlai fan. I know some people aren't as big a fan as I am, so I think they might work well together too.
Oh, there it is.
There.
Mo, just shoot it. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go out on a limb right now. That will be the last time we see Mo Salah pass a ball like that. Because let's be honest. I was just
thinking that.
When Darwin did that last year and tried to set up Mo, everyone slated him and got really angry. that was Mo Salah being like, all right, if we're going to play a ball like that to me on this first one, I'm going to give it back to you. Oh, it didn't come off right. Okay, I'm going to score each and every one of these from here on out.
Yeah, it almost made me think, who is that?
Oh my
Obviously,
goodness. Look at this guy dribble. This is
I
the
like
thing.
it.
His touch. Yeah, Gravenberch should never play center back again. That just doesn't work. He's too good of a look at him. He's literally ahead of Stevenson.
Yeah.
He's just pinched up so forward. He's diving in. It just doesn't look there.
I'd hopefully be really surprised to see him start center back in a competitive game. But
I mean, it would be a break glass, and that's what this is. I mean, we mentioned it before. We'll mention it again. Unfortunately, Joe Gomez has picked up a small Achilles injury. He will be going home. Kevin said it was a good finish, but a bit too easy. Absolutely agree. Mistake by Gravenberch. Obviously, maybe. I mean, it almost looks like it's tactical because he's consistently that high up the pitch. But
Virgil playing right back there. That's much. That's what you want to see either.
Yeah, no, this feels to me like Gomez probably would have started today. And unfortunately, we'll probably see Kanate in the second half. And then I think the other option here probably would have been Endo. And to everybody's shock, especially with the match being played in Hong Kong, Endo is not in the lineup, but reports are that he's ill. So it came down with sickness. So here is the quick little 1-2. I mean, Mo Salah's just got to. I think Wirtz was as shocked as anyone that the ball was coming back. He was just like, wait, whoa. I gave you the ball, man. What? I'm pretty sure we went to training and they said, like, the pitch tips towards the right, and there's
Correct.
a reason. We want the ball to get to Mo Salah.
Sadio Mane somewhere is in shock of Salah trying to square that ball to somebody.
Unbelievable. Yeah, exactly. And you just said Sadio Mane and Cersei is immediately triggered. Somewhere in California, there's tears and someone is missing someone. Yeah, it's been better since the goal, obviously. You can see what Wirtz brings. I mean, his ability to dribble in tight spaces and commit players.
We haven't had that for quite a while, really.
Knew it was coming. It only takes. It's like Beetlejuice. If you mention the name, Cersei will show up. So here's Rio. First time we've seen him.
I'm excited to see him. I hope he gets some minutes this year. He's something. I think he might have a good career ahead of him.
I think he definitely has a good career ahead of him. They need to keep him grounded. I mean, I love the overconfidence. And listen, we've seen great young players splash onto the scene at times, and some talent usurps age, right? And I do believe that, like, the ability to play is definitely a real trait and a real factor. I just feel like they have to make sure that they don't put too much on his plate too soon. And I feel like him and Neone will get minutes this year in both. So that's the youthful concerns I have, which is why I think we'll see less than we want to see overall. They're definitely a little loose again at the back. And again, you can kind of see what happens when they lose possession in tough spops of the pitch.
Our right side doesn't look super secure with Gravenberch there, which again, I hope we don't see a lot of him playing center back this year.
Yeah, I think this would have been Endo if it would have been Gomez for one. It would have been Endo as a two, and I do think they're going to sign one. Kevin says Gahey was only Palace first team player not there in the game this morning. Take from that what you may. So I do feel like the Gahey thing will happen. I think that the Isak thing, and we'll talk a little more about that later, but I think that both Ekatike's expedited signing and then now the potential pursuit and conversations around Isak plus the outgoings, I think is maybe delaying the Gahey transaction. But I kind of agree with Kevin. I do think there's been enough smoke. There's usually some fire. And I think that we'll probably see that come off, and I think it'll most likely occur. So we have the sound down, but it is clear that the folks in Hong Kong are recognizing in the 20th minute that it is a good idea. So I think we're going to take the rest of this 20th minute in silence, and I'm going to go ahead and mute so we can listen to it while it's happening on our. Well, that was not great, basically by anyone. The ball back to Allison left a lot to be desired. His pass to Szoboszlai was in a very dangerous area. It was hard. Stevenson or Harvey, I can't really tell because they kind of have the same exact haircut.
Harvey's got the blue boots and Stevenson has the taller white socks. That's how I'm telling them apart so far.
Is Harvey no, Pulisic down.
Man.
Not a surprise there. Hasn't had injury problems, but looks like he's holding his ankle. I wonder if he rolled it.
I think the Italian league is good for him.
Oh, it's perfect.
It was not perfect. Quite as physically demanding. Keeps him from getting injured. As an American, obviously, I'm selfishly like him to stay healthy.
Yeah, I am the resident U.S. men's national team kind of supporter, and or really I'm the only one who cares enough to rant and rave about it on the and bitch about how poorly they are. But
I'm happy to join.
I've been pretty disenfranchised. Oh, that's the opposite. That's not good. It looks like it's almost even non-contact.
I get pretty worked up about the national team alone, usually in my house late at night.
Yeah, that's probably not a good one there. He doesn't get kicked or anything really, but it looks like he's going to be able to come back on, which is good. It's good news. I don't root injuries on any players unless they're rats. Just kidding. 3 letters, couple A's. But 1-0 here, 23 minutes in. Cersei made a comment up here. I guess we'll touch on it here. Diaz is not in the squad once again. He was not in the Preston match. He did not feature in the behind closed doors match, and he is not featuring today, yet he is on tour. There were reports this morning. There were reports yesterday that Liverpool received an official second bid, and then there were contradicting reports. There were also reports that the Liverpool kind of hierarchy had a meeting to discuss the bid, and that some reports in Germany were that they expected Diaz to leave the tour at some point this week to secure the move. So let me ask you, Kenny, I have gone back and forth on whether or not I thought it was the right move. I've gone back and forth to really try to reconcile in my own head if it makes sense at this time for this move. But what are your thoughts on letting Diaz go? Is 70 million enough? And well, we'll start with that, and then we'll talk about options for replacements and what they'll need to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's an odd one. Normally when we're talking about players going, you feel strongly one way or the other about them going or staying. And honestly, I would be fine with either. I think Diaz is a positive to have in the squad, but I do think he's upgradable. Not for cheap, obviously, but 70 million for a 28-year-old isn't bad business. And the longer we keep him, the less that price gets. So if we do want to move him on. I think now is the time to do that. And if Bayern are willing to pay 70 odd million, I think it's maybe time to make that play, especially with the Isak deal seemingly looming. But again, let's say he stays. I'm more than happy. Diaz is a great player. I think he's a benefit to have on the team, but
That's a beautiful ball there by
it sure
Gravenberg
is.
down the wing to
Come
Rio.
on, Rio.
Bag of tricks taken on Tamori.
What a hit.
What a shot by Sobo. We need more of that. We need more goals.
All year last year, I was screaming at him to shoot the damn ball, and he just wouldn't do it.
That's a nice finish. That's a tidy finish by a tidy player. But let's not get it twisted. That was a great diagonal long ball played by Gravenberg. Good control by Rio. Takes the ball down, takes on the player, squares him up, gets to the touchline, pulls it back, loses the ball, gets it back. Kids, Brian Shelton says it here. He's going to be class. I want them to do the right thing. I've said it before. There's certain players, and I don't want to get this twisted, but he does, in a lot of ways, remind me of the really young Raheem Sterling, the one that everyone was so excited about. He has pace. I think he's better with the ball at his feet. He still needs to get the finishing portion of his game down, of course. They all do. But he doesn't need to go on loan. He needs to, practice with the first squad every day and fight his way in. And we were just talking about Diaz, and people talk about whether or not, we have to replace Diaz or how you replace Diaz. Part of the reason I think they were comfortable with either letting Diaz go on a free in 2 years' time or selling him is because I think they know that they have a replacement eventually in this side that
Yeah.
is, cost effective. Here he comes again. Oh,
Ooh,
this kid's, tell
I
you
like
what,
it.
he keeps having cameos like this. We're not going to be talking about when he's a replacement. We're going to be talking about whether or not Gakpo has to worry about losing his job.
Correct. Also, you talk about Raheem Sterling. That the way he just was holding his hands there and running, it really, really did remind me of Raheem Sterling.
Wow.
I
Soboslai
like that
popping
kid.
up in some really interesting spots after coming from deep. He's definitely having himself a really good first half, and clearly Rio's having himself a good few minutes. I'll tell you that is a great strike. And
I was
that's where
gonna
you want
say,
to see him shooting. I know Kevin says unreal pass, better shot. I completely agree. Sir Z says maybe it's just me, but I feel like Rio will look to move on from us and try us.
I think he already left Chelsea. That would have been
I
a
don't
snake
know.
move, right?
I don't really know why Rio would want to move on if he's getting minutes and eventually get some time. He was at Chelsea. If it was about money, he would have stayed there. Look at that pass from Verts. I don't see that at all. I think that feels like it's a fear factor type of a moment, type of a thing.
I think the Diaz leaving may actually kind of not save us, but give us a little bit more faith in him not doing that because there is a clear pathway for him into the team now with Diaz gone.
And Serzi says to Madrid, but the issue is Rio just signed a long-term contract, which means they're
What a
going to have
ball.
to pay,
Oh,
and Real Madrid doesn't pay for world-class players. They wait for them to develop. So even if he makes that move to Madrid, he makes that move in 6 or 7 years' time, in my opinion. I mean, he isn't 17 years old yet. So I think he turns 17 next month. Yeah, I don't read as much into the Ballon d'Or comments. Mo Salah said he wants to win the Ballon d'Or. He didn't leave.
we've just been hurt by the
Yeah,
he
it
must
was
not be named. That's all.
It's the Trent thing.
Oh,
That's another loose touch by Allison. He's not having himself a great one here, a great half. It'll be interesting to see what the second half looks like. I'll be interested to see
I feel
what
like
Mohamed
Allison
Ashley looks like.
has 2 or 3 games a year where it's like he's never kicked the ball before, which we forget about because he's so incredible every other game. But it's just like 2 or 3 games a year where he passes the ball directly to a opposing striker every year, I feel like, and I guess that's the price you pay for playing with your keeper, playing the ball out of the back, but it's not like I still wouldn't trade Allison for anyone.
No, I still think he's the best keeper in the world. I do think, though, that, and then this would ruffle people, especially we've had these in our chats. I do think there's going to be times this year people will be surprised when the big Georgian keeper is given a random start, whether it be in the Champions League or maybe coming off an international break where Ali played a lot of minutes for Brazil or traveled a lot. Look at
What a
that
turn
dribble and
there.
touch.
Shoot it. Oh, what a ball. Harvey, you're so slow.
Yeah, that is the prime example right there of why Harvey Elliott will probably play next year for West Ham.
Correct. Or Newcastle.
Yeah, maybe, especially depending on how that goes. But yeah, you gotta get to that ball.
Looks like me running for it.
But what a couple touches by Verts there. He
That turn
basically
was
left 4
incredible.
players behind him and then made the pass.
This is what preseason's about, just getting excited about seeing little stuff like that. Gets me excited to see Verts play. Who cares about us losing a goal?
The cooling break is always interesting, especially, and I totally get them. It's just funny when they're pre-programmed and scheduled, because they do have air conditioning in the stadium and the roof is closed. But they're having a cooling break, and that might just be so the fans can sing songs. It is interesting to see here. Looks like the AC Milan players have realized, like, oh man, this Florian Wirtz guy is really tough to play against. It is pretty exciting to think about how much better it's going to get with him as the season goes on, and as more players get more familiar with his style and how he plays. I really think it's going to be something it's going to be not just fun to watch. I think it's going to be really, really difficult for opponents to handle. So let's go back to the Diaz conversation. Looks like all signs are pointing that he will move on, and he will most likely be going to Bayern.
I like the move for him, to be honest, and for his career. I think it's a good move for him.
Seems, I agree. I definitely agree that it is a good move for him. I know Barca was his dream, but I don't think he was getting to Barcelona, even if he stayed here another year. As much as he wants the payday, and I do think it is a financial driving factor. I don't think he's unhappy at Liverpool. I don't think he doesn't want to be at this club. Just do believe that he believes his time is probably up because they're not interested in giving him a new contract. And at 28, he's probably only got one more chance. Here comes Milan again on the break. I got to be honest, it's been another match where Andy Robertson looks a bit off the pace when you're getting run down by Loftus-Cheek. There's another one who went to Italy. Get up. Anytime Mo Salah hits the ground, I worry. But yeah, Robertson, I don't remember Robertson touching the ball too many times this half, and the few times I do remember him, players ran
haven't
past.
been playing through the left side a lot, other than the switch ball to Rio. So maybe that's something to do with it. But another thing with the Diaz I saw, not to change the topic too much, was that Bayern offered us like an add-on, a sell-on fee. So if he goes to Saudi after he leaves Bayern, we'd get a cut of that fee. That's like a way to make the money
Make up
work
some
for
of the
us.
money.
I still think we'll probably hold off for one more offer, from what I've read.
Christ.
Virgil, come on.
I mean,
is Tradionian? Was that not Tradioni on the midfield? Am I losing my mind?
No, I don't believe so, unless they made a substitution that I didn't see. I think it was Probably Gravenberch. Oh yeah, it is. So
That's
they must. Did
okay.
they make a sub
I
during
guess
that?
during the cooling break.
They must have taken off. They might have taken off Morton.
Speaking of that, I don't think I've ever seen. I didn't see Morton touch the ball once.
I don't know. Fatma. There it is. Trainioni
Okay.
for Tyler Morton.
Did Morton touch
And
the ball?
yeah, he did. He had a couple tidy little touches inside. They just announced it there. The
I'm glad I'm not having a stroke though. I was like, I'm pretty sure
not
that's
not
Trainiani.
able to listen to the commentary, Sir Z. So was there hint of any type of an injury to Morton, or was it purely, maybe he just really, this being his first appearance, Slot only thought he had 30 minutes in his legs? Here comes Mo running at the attack. Soboslai. Oh, Harvey lost his way there.
Yeah, interesting ball.
Good morning to Muchin. Morton did not look very good, to be honest. A lot of poor passes. Yeah, the only couple passes I saw were not very tidy and didn't look like he was up to. Well, we appreciate that, Sir Z. We appreciate that very much.
We are much better than the commentary.
I wouldn't go that far because we're watching on All Red Access, but I'm sure those commentators are doing it. I can't wait for the halftime show on Paramount Plus. Said nobody ever. But yeah, and I agree. Morton won't be here long, anyways. We had talked about that earlier. He's another player heavily linked.
Oh, that's.
They don't give penalties in preseason. But they do call fouls. Robbo in full fine form right there.
Yeah, no need for commentary there. That was pretty clear.
Yeah, Robertson's not getting a penalty in the middle of a big match. He's surely not getting a penalty. Well, that wasn't a penalty,
one.
So
yeah,
that would have been soft. And Robertson would have been the first person in that person's ear had that been called a penalty against him.
Man, Harvey.
Yeah, Harvey is another one. If we're going to be critical of how Morton looked there in the first half, Harvey has not had himself a great one either. But I can understand that. The pressure on him, the big decision looming. Will someone come in with enough money? I know. Good morning, Alan. Thank you for joining us as always. Yeah, it's funny. It's been like it's been a weird, disjointed first half. I guess you can understand that when you got your six playing center back and your third or fourth choice right back out there at the time, and kind of a disjointed midfield. But you really realize what you're missing. You're really missing McAllister and Gravenberg's partnership in the middle of the field. That feels like something that's been a little bit inconsistent. Obviously, Verts has been great. His touches, Timuchin says, watching the entire game, thinking, what if Verts is where Elliott is, and Ekatike, or dare I say, Isak is where Verts is. And I'm almost thinking to myself, oh man, what is going on? I'm thinking the same thing, Timuchin. I'm also thinking to myself, like, what if even the world where Ekatike and Isak are on the pitch together and you figure out a way to play Verts and Mo Salah and
I think in that circumstance, we might see Verts off the left.
I mean, it's a scary proposition to think how the variations and options that he's going to have to line up with. But Verts' ability and close control and dribbling skills to take on a player and just shift players and, his eye for a pass. To Sir Z's comment earlier was in the chat about they will get used to playing with him as time goes on. And I really do agree with that. I think this gets better and better and better the more continuity they have and the more reps, which is scary, I think, for the league. The amount of sheer talent this side has, and we haven't even brought on Kirkez, Frimpong, and obviously Ekatike is not even in the match day squad, let alone what happens next.
The only thing that's concerning me, and again, I think it's probably due to what the personnel is, we look wide open on the counterattack.
Yeah, I do think there is a lot of that there.
Oh, Rio
again, getting a dangerous position, getting the ball in.
I mean, he's got to be 100% dribble success rate. He's looking great.
So Timuchin reminding everyone to hit the thumbs up, people. Please, if you haven't already, give us a like, give us a share, share the video to someone else. Oh,
what a hit.
Oh, was that
Who hit that the first time?
Was it? For a second, I thought it was Robertson, but it was on target. So I was kind of
left-footed shot. It was Robertson.
Wow. Interesting.
What is he doing playing center forward?
Well, I feel like they almost are playing Robertson in this match as an inverted.
Mm-hmm.
Like an inverted left back, almost like the way they used to at the right back last season. Maybe because Stevenson's in, they just don't really look like they're.
And the Stevenson kid.
Yeah,
I like him.
This is tough. This is kind of a tough watch here. They're lucky that didn't come off.
Yeah.
If that's a good ball, that's 2-1.
Correct. And that's something I mentioned on Thursday's podcast. Only thing I'm concerned about is us being open through the middle without someone there to kind of have the running power, Szoboszlai or whatever you want to call it, or whoever you want to put there. Again, I don't think this is a great way to judge with the personnel we have on the field, but it does concern me about being open to counterattack. It's giving me Klopp's first season's vibes where we have to outscore them or we lose, which we do have the personnel for. It's a little concerning to me.
So Z said, Gally, question for you, Gally. I know what Kenny thinks. Where or how do you see Jones breaking into the first 11? I mean, I don't. I mean, I want to be fair. I'm a Curtis Jones fan. Some at times might even say I'm a Curtis Jones apologist, because I believe. Oh, there's another. Couldn't get it out of his feet, but the thing about Rio this summer compared, and I know Timuchin has had this comment, and we may talk about it in the second half if he joins me after you depart. The best thing for me from Rio this summer has been it looks like he's matured a bit with his decision making and when to pass and where to pass. They don't always come off, and that's what you get out of young players. But I do appreciate that he's shown some growth in that area. He's still got a lot to do, and I think when you're a tricky winger with that much talent, you forget sometimes you're not playing against 16-year-old academy kids because you're making 28-year-old pros look like academy kids. You think you should keep doing it when it's not the right call. And, we all know it's going to get a lot tougher for him as the matches get tighter. But to the question that Sir Z posed about Jones, I don't think, barring injury or rotational pieces, that he stakes a claim at a starting first 11 position. But I think that's what happens when you're a really good young player, but you're the fifth option in midfield. And that's not a bad thing. Maybe in a couple of years, he'll decide he wants to also, look for his own career and make that move. But he'll be one of the two getting minutes. And I just feel like I just think he's gonna back up Soboslai, Gravenberch, and McAllister. Like I think those four will rotate between those two positions a lot of the time, except for when Soboslai might be filling in for Verts. Timuchin says you won't see him as an attacking mid, especially until Elliott's sold. I agree with that. I also don't know that you're going to see him all that much as an attacking mid, even after. I think he's proven that he can play the 8 and the 6 role as well. He needs to be more he needs to be a little bit more defensively aware, and he needs to remember his defensive responsibilities. I still feel like at times the bad habits of Curtis pop out, and we all love to make the joke that he's ever since he scored the worldie against Everton, he's just been trying to recreate it from every angle of everywhere on the pitch. But I think Jones plays a big part on this team this season. I really do.
Jesus.
Wow, it's a good thing he's got some meat hawks, and Virgil just took one in the chin. Well, hopefully it's not a broken nose, because he looked like he got cleaned.
Not ideal there.
I would agree with Brian Shelton. He does hold the ball too long. I think part of what Klopp and Slot, for that matter. Oh, it was Allison.
Allison,
Friendly
yeah, I think his
fire.
shoulder caught him.
I do think that's one of the things that both Klopp and now Slot have talked about is his composure and his ability to bring players into play, and Jones's ability in tight spaces. But again, almost to the conversation about Rio's youth, I think sometimes Jones gets caught up in his own hype, where he has like a good 15, 20 minutes and he can feel it's going well. He knows people in the crowd are loving it, and he reads the local Scouts kid, and I think sometimes he talks himself into thinking he can make things happen that maybe aren't there for him and probably aren't the best example. So excited to see Kirkes again. One, because I think he's a super talent, and two, because I just think he's absolutely insane and you don't know what's going to happen. But to Timuchin's point from yesterday's morning show, you do kind of know what you're going to get out of it. So I know you're going to be going on baby duty shortly and ducking out here. What were your initial thoughts on this half? What players here in the second half are you excited to watch? What are your thoughts here?
Yeah,
as we kind of conclude here the half.
I and maybe this is just me being scared of getting too excited with all the signings we have. So I don't want to be negative, but we looked really open on the counterattack, which is a little concerning. I'm hoping that's just down to personnel and a weird formation we were trying. Verts looked incredible. Mo looked pretty sharp. Rio looked great. And then Harvey and Tyler Morton, not the best. Which for Harvey, I think the interview came out this week where he's like, I want to be at Liverpool for the rest of my career, but I kind of know it might not be the case. And I think he's got a lot on his mind, understandably. And that's kind of maybe what's holding him back. Because you can say what you want about Harvey Elliott's physical abilities and lack of being able to, top speed not being the best. He usually has a pretty great ping on him. He can hit a ball. He can make a pass. He misplaced every pass I saw that half, which is unlike him. But yeah, I think Rio looked great, and he's really exciting. I want to watch more of him. Hope we get to see some of him this season. And I'm really excited to see Frimpong and Kirkes come out in the second half. See what their more, touchline holding fullbacks look like. I'm sure we'll see some sort of change of system as well. Maybe Well, Gakpo action. I like a good Cody Gakpo goal. So yeah, looking forward to it. Just fun to watch Liverpool play. I don't care, especially the game means nothing.
Yeah, it sure is. It's definitely an interesting first half there. I'd say as far as players go, I thought Rio looked bright. Obviously, Verts, really influential in the match. Obviously, you can see it coming off. You can see the tricks there, what he's going to bring to the side. Really excited to see what it looks like when he has like a recognized striker in front of him. And then, Mo Salah's Mo Salah, tidy touches, you know, could have banged that volley in there at the end of the half. So thought the attacking, little disjointed. Love seeing Soboslai take that shot. Love the goal. Just exciting to see it happening. But got to be honest, don't really want to see Gravenberch playing at center back again. And I'd say what I'm most excited for the second half for is potentially seeing that Morton and Frimpong right-hand side experiment. And I find it interesting that for 2 matches in a row. So in the friendly at Stoke, Frimpong basically played further up the pitch, and he played with Morton for 45 minutes as Morton as the right back and Frimpong in attack.
Do you think Morton will come back on? He got subbed off, right?
No, I'm sorry, not Morton. I meant Bradley. I apologize. It was Bradley
Okay.
at right back and Frimpong more further forward. And it'll be
Yeah,
interesting to see if that was more of an experiment or that was something to actually see what they could get out of it.
yeah. I think the fact that he can play both is really interesting. That we kind of I mentioned this before on a few of the podcasts and the morning shows, but just the flexibility we have with players who can play different positions. I think Frimpong brings us a new threat down that right side we haven't really had before, where Trent was on the touchline, but he was more of a crosser of the ball, whereas Frimpong is getting up and down the touchline and cutting inside, and he is a goal threat. And I think he may be the Salah while he's at AFCON this year. I think we have a good chance of seeing him play a lot of right wing minutes while Salah is, at AFCON. Or he couldn't. And I think the fact that we don't know and we can't really tell means that oppositions will have a hard time figuring out what exactly we are going to do as well, which is a benefit to Slot, who's tactically very advanced. So it is just exciting. I think this is the most excited I've been going into a season for a long time.
BJ says, morning, gentlemen. Well, probably should be excited going into a season where you're the champions.
Yeah.
And you're not only the champions of England, you're basically the champions of the sporting world when it comes to the transfer window, players they're hiring. Jamie says, does it not feel cheap likening Rio to Sterling? I think if you take into account the history of what happened since, how he left, etc. My actual comment when I made the comment of reminds me of Sterling, it was more around the excitement at that time of a young player that wasn't thought to be part of the plans that season, kind of making his way in, making a breakthrough, doing it as a teenager. And it was more of what it brought to training, to the camp. As Kenny had to dropped off there for a second. Kenny is on his way out this morning, so you may be stuck with just me unless we can bring another. We tap in a sub and bring somebody in for the second half. So if it is just me, folks, I need all of you in that chat to continue this conversation, because that's the only way we will get through the second half together. Because just listening to me ramble is, well, what my wife deals with each and every day. Kenny's back for a moment here. So I think it was more along the lines of the comments that you heard from Suarez, from Sturridge at the time, the comments that you heard from Gerrard as well. I think how Sterling left is unfair, which is why I really didn't get into the whole, and I know Sir Z made the comment about, worrying that maybe Rio wants a move or something. I think that's just kind of because we're a little snake bit and the Ballon d'Or comments just kind of resonate and hit differently. But he's a 16-year-old kid. And I think if I think back to some of the stupid shit I said at 16, I realize 31 years have passed and I'm still saying stupid shit.
Yeah, I would not like to be held accountable for anything I said before the age of, well, I'm 31, so before the age of 31.
I also will say, and I know this, Reds don't want to hear this, but when the way Sterling left was despicable, his actions, the interview, it was all wrong. But he said he wanted to challenge himself and go to the next level. And Brendan Rodgers wasn't going to get him to the next level. And he went to City and he won everything. He played 3 years where he was England's best player. And I don't think he ever got the credit that he deserved as a footballer because of his actions. And we're not going to give him that credit. Don't get me wrong. But well, get used to it, Mr. Bat Red, because Kenny's got to go on baby duty and it's going to just be me. So I'm going to need you to help. We won't kick you out, my man. If you know one thing about me, I always say good comments, bad comments. The whole point of this is 50% like you, 50% hate you. Nobody changes the channel. That's the goal here. So if all of us all get along and all of us agree on everything, well, this wouldn't be nearly as much fun. So
Yeah, the whole point
with
of
that,
football commentary is to argue with people.
I think we're gonna take like a 2-minute hiatus here, and yeah, and we're just gonna jump off here, and we'll get back at it. We'll be back in a few minutes. Kenny, thank you for joining me today.
Yep, appreciate you having me. Thanks, guys.
We'll see you on some future shows coming up.
Absolutely.
And of course, if you are on here right now, well, go fix yourself a coffee if you're somewhere that it's still morning. Get yourself a cup of tea if it's lunchtime, and we'll be right back with some second half coverage in just a few minutes. All righty, so we are back. We are seeing if we're going to get a guest or two here as the second half is just about ready to get underway. I have not seen whether or not there have been any substitutions. This was the original starting lineup showing with the ratings. I was not shocked to see that Soboslai and Rio were two of the highest rated players. I won't lie, sometimes these FOTMob ratings shocked me a bit because I'm not sure that I would have seen Gravenberch as one of the standouts from that first half. But interestingly enough, it does look like I'm getting my wish, and we are going to see Frimpong on the right with Ben Doak up on the left, which is quite interesting. I'm sure they'll run a ticker here to give us all the substitutions that have occurred. We'll go through those. Really, really interesting stuff, in my opinion, that first half. I was going to say we weren't going to Timuchin says, Mr. Bat Red, I see how it is. You don't make comments like this and not get them brought up on screen. You are my favorite too, Mr. Bat Red. Let me tell you that right now. Fist pump through the screens. We appreciate you being here. Everyone who's here, thank you for joining us this morning. We're going to do a lot more of these. We try to be fun. We try to make them entertaining. We want them to be interactive. So chat with each other, chat with the idiot on screen, whatever it is that you want to see, and we will take this right through to the end of this half. So it does look like Gakpo on the left, Frimpong, nice header, Doak. Ben Doak's an interesting one. You know, I keep seeing people talk about what it's going to mean. Here's Gakpo, with a shot. What it means for Ben Doak. Does Ben Doak have a chance of sticking around, whether it be because the club makes the move for Isak and we have a need for an extra attacker for the squad, for numbers? I personally don't think so, because I just believe that we're starting to see here, especially with this Frimpong and Bradley playing together at the same time in back-to-back preseason matches, that Arne Slot is trying to get is trying to run the rule on Frimpong playing out of the right. So it does look like Wirtz is still out there, Wirtz is off, Ngamo is off. So it does look like wholesale changes. I think the only one that's still out there is probably Trey Nyoni. It does appear that he is still out there at this time. Just trying to get the full lineup. Haven't been able to find it on the app yet. Oh, here it is. They finally updated it. So Frimpong is on. Simicast, Bendo, Gakpo, Curtis Jones, Kanate, Kirkez. And interestingly enough, Freddie Woodman has been brought into the match, not the big Georgian keeper. So getting their number 3 some extra time. So does look like Milan made wholesale changes as well. And interestingly enough, this time it is Simicast at center back. What could go wrong with that, Timuchin? Foul by a Milan player. That one's an interesting one, this Okafor. So Gravenberch has stayed on and moved from center back into the midfield, which makes a lot of sense. Looks like he's playing with Curtis Jones and Nyoni playing in the 10. I knew that would make you happy there. Absolutely knew that you would be buzzing for Simicast at center back. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? So we talked a little bit there in the first half. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the chat. We talked about the Diaz situation. We didn't touch on the fact that Darwin Nunez was also left out of the match day squad today. Rumors picking up and persistent that Al Hilal in the Saudi League is very interested and keen on signing Nunez if they can convince the player regarding the project. I think it was Al Nasir that he was linked to in January, or it might have been Al Hilal. But interesting that he's out of the squad today. Also reports, obviously, that there was a 600,000 a week, 700,000 after-tax salary offered to Isak, which by all reports he has turned down. So going to be interesting to see what impact that has. Is Darwin the next option for the Saudi outfit? Will Darwin still want the move? He was interested in January. The club blocked him from going. Who is never blocked from going. And we would all offer a good 700,000. And it's fun to welcome him back. I'm not sure it's late enough in the day for the singing, but knowing Jamie, we'll get a song or two. Our own glass half full. Jamie, how are you, my friend?
Doing well, mate. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great, my friend. It's so nice to have you back on. Jamie was in the chat earlier joking that he found us here and realized that why he was sitting alone in a Discord channel was everybody was in this chat. So I should remind everyone, we do have a Discord community that we love. It's a great collection of people from all over the world at this point. Talking Reds, talking TV, salivating over whatever Brian Shelton is smoking on a Sunday afternoon. It's just a really great community. So if you're interested, we'll share the link later. But as always, you can always send us a message as well. Jamie, let's start with you. What were your overall thoughts of that first 45 minutes here of footy in Hong Kong?
Yeah, just sat in the Discord by myself, chatting away. Thought it was a bit too early for the old watch-alongs, but here we are. Yeah, between juggling breakfast for my toddler and watching the telly, quietly impressed. I mean, words just Verts, Veerts, Wirtz, silky, effortless. Really liking Rio. Obviously, we all know the pitfalls with putting so much pressure on the young lads these days, but yeah, good, interesting watch. Rafael Leao breaking forward here. There's 2-1 Milan.
Yeah, it was coming there. I'm not going to put that on. I know there'll be somewhere in the chat we find a way to blame Simicast for that because it feels like that's what we do. But yeah, that was a tough one there. We've talked about this though. When you make 11 changes in any football match at any time, it takes guys a few minutes to get bedded in, and they kind of shut off there for a moment. And that's
good little touch and go down the wing here. I mean, they got lucky, but it was a nice ball through, and then he's off. He's off to the races.
Good to see the season is still in full form. If the Turkish Stallion is blaming Trent for not tracking back. Obviously, all tongue-in-cheek, a joke aside. Jamie, you made a comment there, and I really want to touch on it about Rio. I agree, and I've been one who's been like tempered excitement because I don't want to put too much pressure too soon. As we talk about the transfers and what's happening next. It really comes into they look like they trust him. And for me, that's enough. Like when young kids have been on the pitch in the past, there are times where you're going to pass them the ball, but you might not put them in different situations. They were looking to attack through his side of the pitch. Like they knew that there was a mismatch over there. And I mean, Tomori is not some hump defender. He's been one of Serie A's better defenders, and he literally got rinsed for the entire first half by the kid. Just feels like he's maturing right before our eyes, and could be a really, really
Yeah, I mean, that's the ignorance of youth, isn't it? I really like how. I mean, I know there's at times where it's one step over too much or one touch too much, but I love how direct he is, how fearless he is, how willing to take on a man. I mean, that's it's not every day you see that. A lot of players these days like to make the ball do the work, and always the ball's faster than the man. But really, really love his the energy that he brings.
And Sir Z has let us know, obviously, Fatmob had it wrong. I have to have the sound off, or we'd be getting reverb through the screen. So it is Mamadashvili in goal. Fatmob had listed Freddie Woodman as the one that came on. So clearly they weren't sure of which player was which, whoever's running the channel over there. James, as this side gets ready, I've seen your excitement all year long about Verts, about the signings, Kirkes, Frimpong. You were one who I didn't disagree with. I have believed they needed 5 or 6 signings. I thought they would make 2 or 3, like you were talking about, especially coming off the championship season. How surprised are you with the amount of business they've done, but not just the sheer volume, but the quality of the players and how direct they've been at kind of attacking the areas that I think Slot saw this side could be improved upon?
I think that was it for me always. I always wanted 2 or 3 starters ready to walk into the side.
Yep.
And then a couple of fringe. And that's with everybody staying, and not taking into account anybody leaving. So the fact that we've got, 5 lads in who could essentially walk into the starting 11 is incredible. And the fact that we're willing to go again and go more. And PSR, we're in a great shape. All the money we've raked in and not spent over the years, but the money we've taken in last year, the new kit deal, Champions League earnings, Premier League champions earnings, it just seems to be primed for what we're doing, and it's unprecedented. I mean, I read. What are you up to? What are you doing? Sorry, my daughter's just climbing the walls here. What are you doing?
We completely understand. My
But
wife,
yeah, I mean,
would probably
unprecedented.
say,
I read stats taken into inflation. Currently, Liverpool this is only the 48th highest spending transfer window in history. If we were to splash 130 plus on Isaac, it would bring us into 12th, taken into inflation. I think the all-time highest is Chelsea 02-03, I believe. But I mean, we're in such a healthy position to do that. And I mean, I don't feel like there is going to be a potential for unsettling the crowd. Here we go. Finish that. Hit it. No. Just breaking down outside the box there. I thought Curtis was going to lash a boot at it. But yeah, I mean, we're in such a healthy position to do what we're doing, and we all know the times in the past where we've not strengthened from a place where we really should. And yeah, you want to draw? Let's do it. So there you go. That's my take on it. I can't believe that we're doing this sort of business. And Causey was asking for 8 people. I wanted 5 with 3 starters ready to walk in. So we're just putting all of that to bed, like early doors. Like we're a month away from football, and we're still looking for players. Unreal.
It is unreal. And we'll talk a little bit. I want to get your insight and your opinion on some of the guys that were still being linked to the big news, obviously. But before we do that, we'll talk a little bit here about one of the players who is playing today. There was lots of chatter and debate in our world, as we like to say, in our little Discord community on what exactly Frimpong was, and more importantly, what he would be. And in classic LFC fashion, we threw out every reason why he was a right back or a right wing back and what else he could do. And somehow, some way, we decided, yeah, screw it. We're just going to play him at right wing in back-to-back appearances.
I just got the notification. Here we go. It's 3-1.
Yeah, I'm a little ahead of you. We didn't have time with you jumping in, so I didn't want to ruin it for you, James, but I knew it was coming. It's another brutal counter-attacking goal. And it won't shock Timuchin that it looks like Simicast is out of position and just throws a daft leg at it. And the next thing you know, and there's nothing that Mamardashvili can do about this. It's a clinical finish to the corner. It is not a great start here to this second half. We'll talk a little bit more about some of the players as well, because, you know, Kanate there definitely looked a little frustrated. That was definitely on Simicast. I don't know that he had the right positioning there. Tim says, man, sure does not look defensive. Sure does not look defensively against the counter, but makeshift center backs. I do agree. You know, in both halves, you have a makeshift center back. Both halves seem that's a big piece of it. But we were talking there, Jamie, about Frimpong. We all said we thought he would play a little right wing at times, and at times we would see him out there. It's interesting. It's almost like him and Morton are interchanging between right attacking mid and right back at the moment. Is this just Slot just trying out all different things, or do you think there is something where we all kept questioning what this formation might look like, that, you know, he likes the look and the idea of playing these two players together at times on the pitch, especially when Mo Salah is not available to play?
Yeah. Here, sorry, Gally, give me a sec.
You're fine.
Catch up on the stream.
Yeah. Tony in the studio says, take off Simicast and bring on Jamie's daughter. That might win the line of the day, Tony. I know one person who would agree. Oh, wow. That was a shot from Gravenberg from deep.
I've got her well trained. She's a striker. No left backs, no defenders, no goalies in this family.
Well, I was gonna say, James, I know where what position you're gonna be having her earmarked for sure. And it doesn't matter. She'll be an all-around striker, or at a minimum, she'll be a goal poacher, but she's gonna score goals. That's for sure. So
What minute are you on in your stream? Oh, I'm a minute behind you at least.
You're just a minute behind. I'm on 62 minutes, and they've clearly changed the rules in Hong Kong because Tyler Morton has just subbed back into the match. So I know it's a friendly, but you don't see that often where a guy gets subbed off on the 30 and then brought back in on the 60.
You are having a laugh, aren't you? No.
No, they just brought in Tyler Morton.
Wow.
I'm genuinely not kidding. And maybe, and here's a Stupion. I forgot that he signed for AC Milan. He left Brighton this summer. There was talks that he might go to Man United. Clearly, he did himself well to land at AC Milan instead of Manchester United. And Chuck Wiese, another of the 950 signings that Chelsea made 2 seasons ago, already playing somewhere else.
So I just heard on the stream it's rolling subs, so they are.
Wow. Tim says, hey, don't be talking smack about defenders. This is travel soccer rules. We lost Jamie for a moment.
No, I'm still here. I just need to get her a snack.
No worries. You're good, my man. Yeah, or college. You can't come back in first 45 only. Unbelievable the ways we try to change the rules. This is going to be interesting here to see kind of how they handle this. I have to imagine we won't see many other rolling subs at this point. Oh, Frimpong. Tell you what, you see right there, you see what he brings in his pace, his ability on a touch to beat a player. But if there is one thing that you did hear during his time in Germany was that in the final third, at times his finishing would let him down a bit. That was on frame. Good strike, wins the side of corner. So that's a really good sign right there, whether he's bombing as a right back or he is playing as a right wing. Jamie is back with us now, which is great. We almost had our first Frimpong goal there, Jamie. Won the side of corner. Looks like they got another corner. So interesting time here in the match. You can definitely tell. I don't know. I know this is only 2 matches in. I've seen a lot of Cody Gakpo taking free kicks and corners. Maybe that's because McAllister is out. Obviously, I think that is something that'll be interesting to see this year, right? Like, who's going to take the majority of the free kicks when and if Robertson isn't on the pitch with the departure of Trent, obviously. So it'll be interesting there. You like the idea of someone Gakpo's size taking corners? I know he doesn't win a ton of headers, but we aren't the biggest side overall. It's nice to have some of our taller players in the box on some of these free kicks.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we've got some great, some ball delivering midfielders, some wonderful whip on that ball. So,
yeah.
Hello. You want to say hello? No.
No, I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to say hi to me either.
But yeah, some great deliverers. I mean, we've got it's getting a bit of a joke, you know. We've got 3 or 4 lads who can stand over the ball, and each of them have a decent stab at taking that free kick or that cross. So I mean, it's going to be some interesting times. Lads standing over the ball arguing, "No, I'm taking it. No, I'm taking it."
Yeah, I have a feeling that it could end up being a lot of McAllister on the genuinely on the corners. He started taking them towards the end of last year, right? Like when Trent wasn't playing as much. I thought he did well with it. I think we'll see more of Frimpong. I mean, I'm not Frimpong. I think we'll see more of Soboslai standing over direct free kicks at times than maybe we have in the past. But I also think you could argue Wirtz for that. I know he scored a few worldies for Leverkusen from free kicks. And then you also, you still have McAllister, who also was kind of a set piece specialist when he was at Brighton. So just feel like the side is just so deep all around. So I just feel like it's going to be really interesting, though, to see some of those changes from we've gotten so accustomed to one of the 2 fullbacks taking just about every dead ball, right? That was happening. And Trent took about every direct free kick that was on goal. So it'll be really interesting to see how that changes. It's going to be interesting to see if they can get the attack going. Haven't really seen much from Doak. Not that he's had many opportunities. I'm sure he wants to get himself involved. It is interesting how often these left backs have been tucked in and inverted into the midfield as well. So we're coming up here on the 70th minute, 68th minute, 3-1 Milan. If you are in the chat, feel free to drop a comment. Get involved. Ooh, slightly offside by Bradley, went just a little too early there. Bradley's another interesting one. I think it's going to be a big year for him. I think he has an awful lot to offer. Awful lot to offer to this side. Here comes Milan again, bombing down. A little bit wide on the pass out to Okafor. Lively player, this Okafor. Milan has some good young talent, but it does feel like they've lost quite a bit. Our resident statistician, still 67% possession, 92% passing. Feel like sometimes these stats paint a different picture than what you're seeing with the eyeballs, only because the possession a lot of times hasn't led to chances. But if you're trying to be a possession-based team, you start by first possessing the ball, right? That's step one. Just want to thank everyone again for joining us this morning. If you're viewing us on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, set your notifications. We do a bunch of different shows throughout the week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning coffee show, Monday and Thursday night podcast, plus our panel show on Tuesdays. Jamie is back.
Got to get the snacks.
I get it, Jamie. As someone who needs snacks regularly, I wish someone would stop what they were doing to get me snacks. I miss those days very, very much. Sir Z
banana muffins for breakfast, and then you got to have the snacks to follow up.
Yeah, I mean, it's only 9 a.m. It's time for that like late breakfast, early lunch. And then I'm sure lunch will happen, and then there'll be snacks in the early afternoon as well.
Oh yeah.
Sir Z says, "Cue Arsenal fans saying how they beat Milan a week ago." Yeah, I can't wait for more fans to talk about winning trophies. They did beat Milan. I love that. They won 2-1, but the match went to penalties anyways, and then Arsenal lost on penalties. I don't understand how they do this. It's like, we just want to give the people in the crowd more football, so we're just going to do a penalty shootout for no reason in a match that isn't tied. It's unbelievable what they do. Brian Shelton says, I think Frimpong and Bradley complement each other well. Both are young and can offer different looks. Turkish Stallion says, you can snack 24 hours straight in 2 weeks. Yes. Someone mentioned it a bit ago in the chat. We will be doing our second, as Timuchin likes to say, annual 24-hour podathon, August 9th and 10th. Anyone who tuned in last year saw the ridiculousness that was Bickler and I from about 7 a.m. to noon, from hours 19 to 24. At one point, we asked Bickler a question. He looked directly at the camera and said, where am I? The beauty this year, he'll know where he is because he'll be in Carragher's Pub. We're taking the show on the road, and we are doing the 24-hour podcast in person in New York City, live from Carragher's. I'm not sure what is crazier. The idea that we thought we could pull off 24 hours again, the idea that I can do 24 hours in a bar. Yes, Wilmington represent, one of our fine sponsors. Thank you very much to the official supporters group of Wilmington for their sponsorship, and for Jamie for your assistance with that. We really appreciate it. But yeah, I'm not sure what was crazier. The idea that I could live 24 hours in a bar and survive and not be just a complete walking puddle of piss by the end of it.
Or thrown out.
Because anyone who thinks I'm not on the ale during this thing is crazy when they're flowing it all around me. And the only crazier thing is that they do close the bar for 4 hours during this, and they are leaving us in the back room, which is almost as insane. I'm sure they'll have some cleaners and or security. Tyler Morton almost got on the end of that one. Thought he might have a chance. Another example, though, of Frimpong just showing his just rapid pace and the tricks that he has. He almost fell down, and the defender did fall down on that play. Morton just swung a left peg at it and just didn't make a clean touch. Defender's holding his hands up there. Hopefully security to keep you away from the bar overnight. Absolutely. If there are time, I mean, I can clearly take a little break. One person did ask me, do you think you could do it and have 1 beer per hour? I said, I know I could pull off the 1 beer per hour. My problem is after the 4th hour, I would not adhere to the 1 beer per hour rule, which means after the 8th hour, I would fall down and fall over. So I will be taking good care of myself like last year, except for the fact that, I didn't have the proper seating arrangement last year, which is when I gave myself sciatica. So if you're ever struggling with a nerve issue, don't sit for 24 hours straight. It is not good for the mind, body, or spirit.
You're gonna get deep vein thrombosis. Just you gotta wiggle your toes.
To wiggle my toes. I'm gonna stand up every once
Like-
in a while. That's the beauty though of this place. If we get a riser for the cameras and everything, you could stand for a bit. It's gonna be really great. They've done a lot of. I think they've hosted Redmen TV there. They've hosted the Anfield Wrap. So they're very.
They even had Gary Neville in there. I'm sure they disinfected the place heavily after that.
I'm hoping that they disinfected it. We are keeping our fingers crossed that we may have some surprises that day, and we might have. It is the morning of the Community Shield, so we will be doing a live watch along as 2 of the hours of the show. Carragher's often will get former Liverpool players, legends of the club, traveling through New York City on holiday. It is a big match, so I would expect anyone. I know when I go on vacation, the first thing my wife does is literally look up when the Liverpool match is that weekend, because she knows that that's a time she can't schedule me to do something else. And then we find the local pub, or we find a pub to watch it with people, whether we're in Chicago.
100%.
Can't wait till we're in Wilmington so we can come watch it with you guys and your crew. It looks like a lot of fun. I went when we were in New Orleans. We went to a pub at 6:30 in the morning to visit good friend Rich Kramer and his supporters group in New Orleans, where they had it. I couldn't believe it. There was, I think, 65 people there at 6:30 in the morning for a match against Burnley. They didn't even make food yet, and the supporters group brought bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches that one of the people made for everyone. So there was breakfast because the food didn't start till 8 a.m. It was outstanding. It was a great time. I strongly recommend, if you've never gone to a different place, if you've never gone and traveled and checked out a different supporters club, do it. You'll meet so many cool people. You'll make new friends, and you'll feel like you've been there forever. That's been my experience. I think we've been to 10 or 15 different ones over the last few years. And shameless plug, but if you are ever traveling and you need to find a pub and you're not sure where you can go to the American Scouser website. We have an interactive map where we have official and unofficial Liverpool supporters pubs all across the Northeast. I'm pretty sure we have some in the islands, one in Jamaica. We have one listed in Costa Rica, 2 in Mexico, and a couple in Canada. So, as well as all over the United States. So if you are part of a group and you check out that map and it looks like it's incorrect, send us a message on any of our socials and we'll go ahead and we'll update that with links to your socials. We would be willing to do a spotlight of your OLSC or get you on a show to talk about things, as we're just trying to help connect more Reds all over the world, but specifically here in America too, to other Reds. So it was the plan and the goal when this whole thing started, and it has just absolutely morphed over the past 3 to 5 years, and we're really, really proud of it, and so happy that you're all here with us today.
The thing for me, Gally, was in the Discord especially. It's a great resource to, if you're questioning whether or not it's worth setting up an OLSC or whatever. It's a great resource just to bounce ideas off other people who maybe have been involved in the committee or big members in their local groups. It's just good networking tool. It's good to hear the potential pitfalls or problems in setting it up, and it's just good to hear the experience from other people as well.
It's a great point, and I guess that's another one there. We can definitely we can also say, like, if I think Timuchin is going to post the link to the Discord channel, and if he doesn't, I can as well. But it's a great point you make, Jamie. Not only is it fun and we banter and, we talk about music or concerts we've gone to, but we have folks in there that do things professionally that help other people out. As an example, I know Timuchin and his wife own a business where they do printing and make promotional items and shirts and things like that. And we've used each other to support. So you're not only supporting this person with learning about starting an OLSC, but you're also creating a network of people, of like-minded friends that support each other. And we supported each other, through obviously the tragedy that happened this summer with Jota. We were there for each other, someone to talk to, people that understand it. But we've done the same when people have passed or we've had issues in our own lives, in our own personal lives, whether it be the loss of a father or the loss of a good friend, in your case, Jamie, as you mentioned, and your OLSC group. So if you are trying to start an OLSC or you need support or help with anything that you feel like falls into this Liverpool world, you can always reach out to us or join our Discord. I'll guarantee if you asked a question, how do we do this? Jamie would be there to help you, or Bickler would be there to help if he had that expertise. I mean, it might be growing a 1970s porn mustache, but he would be there to help you, talk you through basically the trauma that everyone that comes in contact with you will have to deal with because of said stash. We kid Bickler, we kid because we love you. BJ says, having been sick, the group support was fantastic. And really, really appreciate that. I hope you're doing better, BJ. We're always there for you. And everyone's own personal health is first and foremost the most important thing. So regardless of what's happening on the pitch, every one of our members' health, every one of these players and staff for the club, supporters' health, that should always trump the footy. But the footy is what brings us together, and that's what really makes the place special. Tony in the studio says, Discord, best support group out there. That's mainly because the only other support group I've ever gone to, I was basically forced to, they tried to tell me to quit drinking. It didn't go so well. That was not my type of support group. They quickly realized I had no place there. All joking aside, anyone who's struggling with any form of addiction, alcohol, drugs, mental health awareness, that was a joke. I meant it as tongue in cheek. Those programs are very, very important and very, very good for the people. Sir Z said, I need support as a result of Discord. That is
That can
also
happen
very,
too.
very
That
fair.
can happen too. Yeah, that's. I think we've got a page in there for that.
We do. We probably
We got a page for everything, man. I mean, it's like
should have an entire server dedicated to it. That's a great turn right there by Doak. Oh, cuts it back. Just missed the player running in. I want to say this before we go back into the comments. I really feel for Endo to come down with illness and miss the match today. You got to know he must have been buzzing to get out there and play in Hong Kong, and being back in Asia. And, just he's been such a good stalwart for the club. I think it would have been really, really nice to have been able to see him play today. So I'll be made up for him if he's able to, play on Wednesday, and hopefully he is. Tell you, they've been building here, better in attack. Jones just had a shot go wide. Frimpong's looked really, really good this half. Haven't really seen too much of Doak. A couple nice lively touches there, but Bradley's starting to insert himself into the match. So in some ways, I feel like this, even though the scoreline, they conceded 2 goals, I feel like the second half might, outside of the Rio kind of sparks and having Verts on the pitch, this second half has been better than, say, the highlights I saw of the second half against Stoke, and especially that second half against Preston, where it really looked like it dropped off during, but you can expect that with all the emotional extra energy that was spent in the first half due to the festivities and, of course, the moment for Jota. 84th minute, 3-1 Milan. What would be your main takeaway, Jamie, from this match today? What are you seeing? What are you going to look for moving forward?
Just good to see the Reds try and bed in a little. You know, I don't mind taking a defeat here against 1970s Brazil with the yellow and green here. Milan, like that shirt, man. Looks nice. But yeah, I mean, it's all about getting minutes in the legs, getting that group ethos back into the swing, and yeah, I don't mind the defeat here today. We've got some lads out on the pitch that are needing to gel, so it's good to see.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. Yeah, I don't want to say I'll wait to say the words till the match actually ends to not jinx anything. Sergi says, I think we've learned more from the players not involved in the game than the game itself. That could be the case, Jamie, with Diaz not being involved, though he's been in training since the first day of training and not involved in a single match day squad yet, even on a bench. Do you think that is signaling that the increased speculation and talk about the move to Bayern is probably more? Gakpo was in, had a real nice chance, couldn't wrap his boot around it to.
Are you on the All Red app? Is that what it is?
Yeah, sorry, I went to All Red, Jamie, out of pride because I figured I'm only going to get so many opportunities to watch a Liverpool feed instead of watching, and I couldn't handle stomaching the Paramount Plus halftime show.
The CBS commentary is terrible. The LFC TV commentary is the best. Like whenever I can't watch the game, I'll listen to the free audio commentary, man, and it's different, man. It just hits different. Biased, obviously, but it's just better commentary. But I mean, Diaz, going back to Diaz, I think you know, I guess if that's what it is, and Bayern are going to come in and it's time for him to move on, then you know, fair play. He's handled himself fairly well as a Liverpool player, even in the training sessions and everything. You can see he's still his usual self, fun-loving, trying to, you know, have a laugh in training. But yeah, I mean, he's been a great Red, and what is it, 70 million or something they're talking about? So we'll reinvest that, and you know, wish him all the best.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it. You know, I agreed with folks earlier in the window, you know, saying, well, I don't know if the replacement cost is higher and you have to upgrade the player. I just think when you have a player who is asking to leave or asking you to consider allowing him to leave because he wants a new contract and you're not willing to offer said contract, you know, I think it's a two-parter, right? I think one, you have to be respectful that this is his career and this is his professional options. Yes, he has a contract, but at the same time, you also have to think about the optics because you're going to want to sign other players, and someday other players will consider leaving your club. And I think it's what Newcastle has to be careful with, right? I think Newcastle has to be careful with the stance in which they take around the Isak situation because, you know, they want to sign young, up-and-coming talent. You can't make them think that you'll hold them hostage if a fair deal comes in. And in a lot of ways, you know, the smoke around Isak is he wanted a deal. He thought he was getting a deal last year, and it never came. They re-upped Anthony Gordon, and then they didn't give him a deal this summer, haven't signed anyone. And he's like, yeah, we made Champions League, but we're not going to be as good as we were last year playing 12 more matches if we have to. So to me, I understand what Diaz is doing. $270K a week is $15 million a year. It's a lot of money for a guy who's been underpaid for the majority of his career. And I know I would jump at 5 times my salary. I'm sure you would consider it as well. even if it meant having to leave something as special as Liverpool, because we have families and so does he, right? So I wish him all the best. I do think it'll happen. Do you think the Isak thing will happen, Jamie?
I can't allow myself to. Do you know what I mean? All this time I've been like, no, it's unfathomable. But the longer it goes on, the more seemingly possible it becomes. So news today that he's said no to Saudi. Yeah, incredible. But I mean, yeah, just mad, like unbelievable.
Doak just had a chance there, tried to square the pass, got intercepted.
I don't know if
Center
you've been
here.
listening to the stream, Gally, but man, the crowd in Hong Kong. I've had one earpiece in listening to the match. The crowd in Hong Kong, man, they're serious. You know, LA, the whole way through the game. 20th minute applause for Jota. I mean, they've been on it. 50,000 in the stadium.
It's amazing. You know, when you see this, you understand why they do these. I know, you know, some people say, the purists say, you know, these guys should be training. They should be getting ready for the season. They shouldn't be doing PR appearances. Look, the supporters in Asia love this club as much as the supporters in America, as the supporters in Africa, right? Like, everybody deserves an opportunity to see the Reds. I am not one who is for playing Champions League matches or league matches or cup matches internationally. I'm not a big fan of that. I know it's becoming more and more common. I do think within 2 or 3 years, I hate to say it, I think there'll be a neutral site match, one neutral match for every team in the Champions League within the next few years. I expect one to be in New York City. I expect one to, that wasn't a good header. I'm not in support of it, but I do expect that globalization to occur. But to your point, these types of moments where you see supporters, 80,000 filling a stadium, it's just great. And it just shows the sheer massive, immense size of this club. And just where the game has moved to globally from a TV standpoint. And, you know, the money in the game is ridiculous. The TV rights are ridiculous. And I'm just so happy to see Liverpool running their clubs in such a smart way that they're able to genuinely strike at an opportunity like now, because they prepared for this summer. They made themselves in a position to do this. And we would all hear about $200 million war chests and get pissed when they'd spend 14 on Chiesa. But they spent 14 on Chiesa last year because they believed someday, when the time was right, they could sign Verts, Frimpong, Kirkez, Gehi, Isak, and Fofana. And
Hold on.
We got one back.
3-1 down to Milan with what? How long? We've seen this before, right?
Got about a minute left.
Is there time? Can we go to penalties on this?
We're saying there's a chance. That was Tanuchin says nice header. It was a very nice header. And it was nice build up. Morton swings it out. Kanate with the pass.
I mean, it's great work by Cody. Like he cuts in there, pretty much brings it back into the center and finishes it off.
That is a great finish. It's a big year for Cody Gakpo. I really do believe that. I've said for a long time, I know the manager rates him highly, especially with Diaz going. It opens the opportunity for him to get a lot more minutes. I do think we'll see some other players playing out on the left or them signing another left-footed attacker. Well. I don't know if that one's coming back, Jim.
Yeah.
That's now 4-2 as the keeper just ran past I don't even know what that was. I guess if you're going to get a howler out of the way, you might as well get it out early. And that looks like it's full time.
Yeah.
Mamardashvili would definitely prefer that match to have ended 3-2 or him to have blown the whistle. Now, yeah, that is just. I mean, to be fair, that is absolutely terrible by Simicast. I'm not even. That is so bad by Simicast there. I don't know that Mamardashvili gets himself in the right position. Probably should have just booted the ball the second time it came to him. But that back pass is really the issue. That was poor twice. Kanate leaves him short, and then Simicast literally passes the ball behind him.
I mean, those crossfield balls, like you're in defense, you're told never to do that. Play the ball across the goal, but you're 40 yards up, and you play the ball like that initially across the field to Kanade. I mean, that's just last minute of the game, preseason kind of stuff. I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah, I would be. It would be worse if it was a true, goalkeeping error leading to a goal getting into his head, and he's a international level goalkeeper. Tim says sell Costas for fuck's sake, and well, he was saying that the day they signed him. So to be fair, he was playing there at center back, probably confused. He does look like he just woke up, but then again, he always does. We'll get you out of here on this, Jamie. Let's say by the time we play again on Wednesday, do you expect there to be any business done? Do you think maybe they make a move for Gahey? They find a way, they finalize the sale of Diaz. Do you think we have any squad movement in the next, 2 to 3 days as they prepare for their next match on the Asian Tour on Wednesday morning?
I mean, possibly, but I'm not holding my breath for anything immediate to happen. I think we've afforded ourselves some time. But when these situations arise, I mean, we we only had a new signing walk onto the pitch for the first time there 2 days ago. So very, very easy to get wrapped up in how quick we're doing business these days, but we've afforded ourselves some time. So if we can get some more in before the 1st of September, excellent. But yeah, just always good to see the Reds out, even though we've gotten a few more goals in against us than we would have liked it today. But big takeaways: 50,000 in Hong Kong. The news about the Forever 20 and the Diogo Jota. Apparently, they're going to be if you get Diogo Jota 20 on the back of your new shirts, it's going to be going to the LFC Foundation. I think that's been So that's something we've all been talking about, and I think it's been confirmed today. So, I mean, it's just getting ourselves prepared for the start of the season, and if we do get a few more in, and if we do happen to spend 100+ million on one certain Swede, fantastic. But I think honestly, we're probably as is ready to go. I think when we won the league last year, I don't think any of us were really expecting that, and I think all of these new additions are certainly getting us prepared and hoping for the best. So can't wait for the start of the season start. Yeah, 3 weeks.
Less than 3 weeks. It was 3 weeks from yesterday, the first match against Bournemouth. Really excited. Can't wait to see the guys get back to Anfield. I know we have the preseason, the 2 preseason matches in one day at Anfield, so they will play there before that. But super excited to see the lads get back. We'll talk a lot more about the about the Jota ongoing memorials that they mentioned. We'll talk a lot more about the potathon that we'll be doing on the 9th and the 10th. We'll get into that as we prepare and that gets closer. I will remind people we are still looking for sponsors. If you own a business, you want to sponsor an hour personally, you're part of a official or unofficial supporters group that wants to be involved. Be glad to bring somebody on during that hour that you sponsor. If you're in the greater New York area and you want to stop by, we would love to see people. We will be walking around Carragher's that day and introducing ourselves to people and hoping to raise money as well live. So don't forget, in addition to the fundraiser, the sponsorship hours, we also do a silent auction where you'll be able to bid on signed jerseys, memorabilia. We have a couple of donations from Liverpool artists. We even have a book signed by George Sefton. So, I mean, we're trying to outdo ourselves to have some quality items for folks to bid on. Every dollar is going back to the 23 Foundation. So
I heard a nasty rumor that you're going to do a bid to shave off Bickler's tash live on air as well.
I mean, we were thinking about that. We're selling shirts. And I'm not even kidding. These shirts have our caricatures on them. Tamuchin even made one where I'm holding up asking for Vertz's shirt, the jerk that he is.
Quality.
For a certain bid, we might even consider signing them for you. So we are trying to raise money every which way. And of course, we will have our traditional GoFundMe link as well, where every dollar goes to the 23 Foundation. We raised over $5,000 last year in our first attempt at this. We would love to do 10,000. It's going to be a big stretch and a big hurdle for us. We'll be proud of ourselves no matter what we do, because every dollar goes towards helping families and people in need in the greater Liverpool community, and that's all that really matters. But if you can donate, honestly, anything helps, even if it's $1, $2, $5. If you can do more, we appreciate it. But anything, every dollar helps when we combine them. So,
and another thing, if you can't donate, just share the link, because
100%.
all it takes is getting the message out there to the right person, and you know, it's for such a great cause, and you know, you guys are great for doing it. When it happened last year, it was amazing, but this year to be in front of Carragher's, it's absolutely class. And like I said, if you can just get the message out to the right person, that 10,000 shouldn't be a problem. Like,
and thank you, Jamie, for sharing that. And we will have some videos coming out from some different folks. We might have a couple surprises, as I mentioned. Can't jinx it yet, but we're really, really excited. So to everyone that has been here this morning, it's been an awesome time. We never did watch-alongs in the past. We are planning to do more of them. I will not be on as many of them unless they are early mornings, because like Jamie, I like to get myself to a pub and watch matches with big, large groups of people with large quantities of booze. So ale in the morning, ale on me, ale on you. I hope everyone has a wonderful Saturday. Don't forget about the potathon. Thank you, Jamie, for jumping in the second half. Thanks, Kenny, for handling the first half. And somehow the guy with no kids got through 2 halves of football with men taking care of kids. Up the Reds. We're gonna win the fucking league again.